Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to Philosophy City Skylines videos. Today I am going to continue with my Bedrock city where I plan to do 1 million population on hard mode. In the previous video I had extended my industry to the forest industry, extended my utilities and services, and had to deal with some road issues that were preventing my industry to export. It was my mistake, I had fixed it, and now the forestry industry is going to develop in here. I had extended my residential zones over here, and now that the commercial has been fixed with the patch 1.06b, I can finally have commercial and parks at the same time without the parks destroying the need for commercial. I need to play around with the utilities here and have a good coverage so that my buildings can grow. And now let's see, what do they need to grow? I was told by one of my subscribers, I hadn't even known that this was possible, you can just hover above this icon here that presents the upgrade level of the building, and it will tell you what it needs to upgrade to the next level. And you can see here it says educate more citizens to allow buildings to upgrade. So if I want these neighborhoods to upgrade to level 2, they need schools. I have been holding off on building schools because my factories and industry did not need educated workers, just uneducated, but as it turns out these guys need to be educated to develop. When it comes to the industry, it seems to say the same thing: educate more citizens to allow buildings to upgrade. So even the buildings from the industry department need educated sims in order to go up. So even though it will say overeducated at some point, the industry does end up needing educated workers to level up. But before I start doing all of that, I need to talk about the future. Now, if I plan to get 1 million people in this city and in the 9 plots, 25 if 9 is not enough, I have this issue with the traffic. Pretty much everything in this game can be made centralized and be symmetrical except for the traffic. This is because the traffic comes from certain points on the map. For example, I have a highway coming in from here, another one from here, another one from here, and another one from here. So that is not symmetrical. You can make your city symmetrical, but the traffic is coming from different directions that you have to obey, because you cannot buy any more plots that are like outside the city and create your own connections. There's always going to be a point where the traffic is coming from. You cannot make it so that the traffic comes from absolutely all the points at the same time. So that was the problem that I've been thinking about for days now and trying to figure out a solution. And it is a combination of two things. This road here that I made kind of reminded me of something I made in another game, City Design, that actually worked out pretty well. The traffic follows the same mechanic. It does not come from all directions, it comes from certain directions. And so I was thinking about how can I use that to my advantage. And then once I calculated in another very important point, that is that when industry sends a truck to export something, that is when the industry is becoming happier. It just needs the truck to exit the factory and exit the map and become export. It does not care how long that takes. Now when I combined that idea and this idea of how my roads are setting up here, I came up to a solution finally for making cities that would work and be huge without having traffic issues. For that I will have to load up another save to show you how exactly did I figure that this is going to work out, because this is on this I was playing with unlimited money and everything unlocked. I will have to just pause because I no longer have unlimited money mod online. Now this is how this goes. You can see the entire region that I've mapped out here. When somebody comes through here, through this highway, and they reach this point, they are going to hit this interchange, and then they can either go forward, go up, and go right. The same is here. I have connected this one. I didn't bother connecting this one because this one will explain the things that I want to tell you pretty simply. When you hit this interchange, you need to come into this portion of the city. You go down to these two roads and then you follow this one to get into my city. Then from here on, and you just keep going forward, and then you reach the other side of the map. From here you turn right and you go again to the edge of the map where you continue going down, and now you're coming back to the entrance. But the trick is that once you get to the entrance, you actually hop over the entrance and then keep going forward until you hit the next edge of the map and the next edge of the map, and then again you go into this long circle where finally you reach this point, and from here on and it's a straight line to the exit. Now this is why I told you about the industry not having a strict timetable when they have to deliver goods to be profitable. So you can send them on this wild road that is taking them all around the city without worrying that they will go out of business and go bankrupt while those trucks are going through these long roads. Additional advantage of building it like this is that it's modular. You can have another city just across the highway from this city, should I say another part of the city just across the highway, which would follow exactly the same pattern. You can have another one over here, another one over here, then another one over here, another one here, here, and here. So you end up with a design that is going to occupy the traffic inside these long highways, and it's not going to pile up in these intersections. It is going to have a huge amount of space to travel through before hitting the interchanges, and that way you're going to free up a lot of space for a lot of traffic. Additional advantage of this is that you can hop over these networks wherever you want and connect these separate parts of the city, and that is not going to have a huge effect on the export because they always look for the closest way to get to the highway, and they would keep using these long stretches of highway. And now the problem of how do you get off the highway. I've seen people use some incredibly convoluted interchanges to get on and off the highways if they're inside cities. This one is actually incredibly simple because you're just using one road to get in. You will have these roads that would be going off like this. Oh, okay, now I don't have any limited money, so I can't make any more roads, but anyway, you will get the point. You get to exit using these highway exits and into the city, and at any point you can actually plug one to go in here into this road because they will keep moving this way. You do not have to worry about going over like this and then from here to here and have crazy interchanges like this all over the city. You just follow the simplest route: in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, and all the way through the city and all the way through these long stretches of the highway. You just go in and out, in and out. And since they are following the same route and they're all going the same way, because when you look at it from the right side, you're always going forward and turning right. You're always going forward and turning right, always going forward and turning right. No matter how far you go through this convoluted highway, you're always going forward and turning right into the city. While if you want to get out of the city, all you have to do is go into the this road from here, and you see you simply just join into the traffic. There is no problem for the traffic to flow like this, and the industry is never gonna bother you because they do not care how long it takes for their cargo to get shipped. It just needs to actually be shipped. So you can just have here, you see, they just go to the right lane if they want to get in. If they do not plan to get in, they'll use the middle lane. And so you have trucks who will even use the most outer lane because it's a long way off before they actually want to turn right. So this actually fixes that problem of trucks constantly using the right lane and blocking the guys who want to continue going forward because they just won't use the right lane to keep moving forward. They will only use it to get off. And the you see, if this guy wants to turn here, he will change lanes, and if he doesn't, he'll just keep on going. You see how simple this is? This is probably the simplest design I have ever thought of. Maybe it's a bit convoluted when you look over here and you have to make these things to go over the circle. I only did this so I could show you you wouldn't spend too much space, because if these were right under 90 degrees and not going down like this, you wouldn't even spending much space for these things to go over these things. for these things to go over these things, for the highways to go over the interchange, and on the other side you can do the same and have another part of the city pretty much exactly looking like this. So basically that's the concept, and let's see if we can pull it off in an actual city. Now for this to actually work in this city, I would have to come up with a lot of cash, because I would need to buy this area here, that's 4,000, and then spend a lot of money on these highways that do cost 88 per cell. So for example, just one road from point A to point B would cost 20,000. So now you see why I have to hold on building this, because it's very costly, but I think it's going to be incredibly good for the traffic. I would just need to wait to get enough money to be able to get this. This is creating a problem. I have to wait for these guys because they're not using the second lane, just the first lane. Well, that's annoying. How would I fix that? Let's try it like this. You're gonna go up and over like this. Page up. Then turn. Then go like this, and then come back into this road like this. Now let's see, are you going to use the same lane or are you going to use the other one? And well, let's get back to the developing forestry industry. They still say uneducated, but like I said previously, if I want my areas to gain a level, I will need to start educating them. And for that I need an elementary school. And I also need to find a spot where it's going to be able to educate most of these sims. I seem to have found a nice spot here. But I will just need to move the road, move the park a little bit. Well, wherever I put it, it's going to destroy some homes. So basically, if I put the school down, it's going to ruin some homes as well. So no need to move the park, just to spend money on moving the park for no reason. Let's see, it's actually easier to destroy a shop, less damaging than destroying a home. There we go. School over here, and now this is gonna cost me, how much was it? 200 per week. Well, it's not that bad. It could be worse. The worst thing is that I need another one. That's pretty expensive. Let's see, some shopping done over here. I won't be developing any more residential over here, so could place a school here if it could cover these zones, but it would not be able to cover them. Let's see, I have shops here. How about the school goes here? Yeah, it will have better coverage. There we go. Now I am basically out of money, but I could develop a little bit more of these zones if I have everything that they need. Like the water and power. I seem to have those in plentiful supply. The industry should keep popping up here. My unemployment is at 3%. Definitely need more people to work. How big is the pollution coming off from this thing? So at least 2 roads Yeah, that's exactly that much. I definitely don't need to add more homes here unless I want them to be poisoned by pollution. So that would be as far as I can zone. Straight road up to here, and then some zones here. Can get as much as I can out of these edges here. This is all covered by water. Yes, unless these guys would make a problem out of it. There we go. Could increase the budget for water a little bit. A few percentages. That settles that. This thing is at 31% and this thing is full, while this one thing is at 19%. So far so good. Alright, I did change this and now I wanted to see how was it doing for the traffic. Well, it's a little bit better, but there are still trucks who are going to use the left lane instead of to continue with the right. But definitely an improvement compared to how it was before when they would each use the same lane. Now some of them actually use this lane as well. A little bit better, a bit costly, but every improvement counts. How am I with my profits? 12,000 income, 9,000 and a half expenses, so around 3,000 in profits. That's excellent. My next unlock will be big services and the oil power plant. Don't need any of those. Heavy traffic ban could be very useful to ban the traffic from the residential zones. Let's see here, the forestry industry is using these zones nicely. Can develop some more. How far is this district? Very good. Now the downside of using forestry and agriculture and any specialized industry is that they cannot upgrade. This industry can upgrade and it will provide you with higher taxes, but the agriculture industry, the forestry industry, the oil industry, the ore industry, they cannot level up. They are what they are when they are built and there's no leveling up, so you cannot increase the amount of taxes that you're gonna be getting from them. That is their downside, but the upside is no pollution. Look at this and take a look at this. Now, one thing that I'm not sure is how would a city function if it had absolutely no generic industry, because generic industry creates goods while these guys create raw materials. Would the commercial be able to use these goods, these raw materials to be supplied, or would it have to import these goods that were otherwise created by generic industry from the region in order for the commercial to operate? Maybe you guys know that answer already. I honestly do not, so I'm going to have to find out and hopefully discover how exactly does that work out in this game. A good thing I remembered, the commercial does not care too much about pollution, so I could have some commercial here. No parks necessary here. Let's see how is the education now going. Education is here. 6%, eligible 295, capacity 600. As we can see, I do have still residential demand, so I need to get more residents. The question is, what is the best way for that design that I showed you before, with the entrance and exit going to the edges through the highway? Is it good to have the industry on the in the middle, on the sides, on the left and right side of the entrance and exit? Or is it better to have the industry on these edges of the map itself? Now, I would think that it's better to have the industry inside, simply because you need more residential than you need industry. So you need these larger spaces for the residential and the smaller spaces here, right here inside, for the industry. And because I want to pack as many teams as I can in these cities, I will be continuing to use agricultural and forestry industry, simply because they do not create pollution. But it may turn out that I need some of these generic industries as well. So I will find a way to build an area that has generic industry then outside of it a little bit of commercial and offices, because they seem to be like a buffer for pollution, because pollution doesn't affect them as much as it does the residential zones. I have unlocked the buses now, but I honestly am not going to use public transportation on a city of 5,000. So just how much industry would I need? Definitely not as much as I already have here, so I can expand my residential zone a bit over here. Where does this district end? It ends here. Need to push it back up a little bit and expand the residential district over here. Actually, I need to expand it quite a bit. The policy that I'm using for Stone Valley is for right now just smoking ban to increase their health. I should check on the rest of the services. The old clinic no longer covers the teams that live down here, so a new clinic is in order. Somewhere about here. I do believe that this is enough progress for this episode, as I have managed to come up with a lot of money now. I may try to pull off the entire highway road network in the next episode. Thank you all for watching and stay tuned for more.